Hello, this is Steve, and this is Austin, and we are going to talk to you today about how to set up your business. So, right now, you're thinking Google Business Profile seems like an excellent way to get started with businesses, and you're right. But there are a lot of things that go into this that you need to think of right now. And we are not lawyers, we're not accountants. This is general information based on experience, not legal advice. Always consult a professional for your specific situation. Contact your lawyer, contact your accountant before you go into this to make sure you're getting the perfect advice. But I'm going to give it over to Austin and just see what his opinion is about starting an LLC, when you should do it, and I'll jump in quickly after that.
Okay. So, do you need an LLC to start an agency? The short answer is no, but the long answer is probably. Um, you can take on clients legally, get paid, run a business as a sole proprietor with like no formal business entry at all. It's just or entity at all. It's just risky. A lot of people do it this way. Um, the real question is, when should you form an LLC? Because at some point you probably really should. Um, So a sole proprietorship is the default business structure, which means it just takes no paperwork to form, and you are the business basically. All your income is reported on your personal tax form. It's just basically just the default option. But there is no liability protection, so if a client sues you, they're just going to take your actual money, and your assets are at risk. So it's definitely a danger. Um, for a brand new agency with no clients and no revenue, this risk is just theoretical. But once you start to take on clients, you really probably should get an LLC. You want to?
Okay, so and me and Austin actually have a relative that ran a business. They own a printing company, and they hired people to work for them, and it was $1 million business. And one of the workers got injured at the job, and it wiped out the entire family's income, everything. They're even to the point that their house is going to get taken away when they both die. They've got nothing left. The kids have nothing left. So this is a real thing to think about. Not trying to scare you with that story, but it's just something that to think about. And what an LLC does, Austin explained to you what a sole proprietor is. It's basically you are the business. LLC separates you and your business. So it protects you. The agency is gets sued, up to whatever the agency has, and doesn't get to you personally. And once again, we are not accountants, we are not lawyers, so please refer to them. We're just giving information that we have used for ourselves, not that we're professing to know everything about these topics. So the professionals are who you should ask to about this. But how it is supposed to work is your personal assets are protected. So your house, your car, anything else you have personally, that's separate from the business, and that's huge, huge. And LLCs also bring with it a sense of credibility. When people see LLC, they seem to trust that more. There's some tax flexibility with LLCs, and I'm definitely not going into that. But when you look into that, you'll see how that is. Uh, LLCs do cost some money. It can be anywhere from 50 to 500. We paid 300 in our state, and there is a yearly fee as well that I think is close to what we paid the first time. I think it might be exactly the same. States are all different, so look up that before you do it. Make sure that makes sense for you. Uh, for the credibility factor, is it going to make a difference between a business hiring you or not? That's hard to say. I do trust a business when I see an LLC a little more. Makes me feel like they're a little more legitimate. When you get an LLC, you also want to get a bank tied into that so that, let's just say um, let's say uh, Jackson LLC. So now you need a bank account that says Jackson LLC. So when you get paid, you got a place to put that. And you might not think about that in the beginning, but you got to get that bank account set up. Getting a bank account for LLCs, you look around and make sure you're getting good pricing. Make sure you get the things you want. Banks are all over the place on how they handle LLCs, but it's important that you get one. And they require, when you do get a business bank, they want to see either LLC or EIN number. You can get a free EIN number from your state. They're real easy to get. You just fill out a few forms, and you can even do it online now and usually get it right away. Some businesses you might want to get insurance. So if you want to get that, get that. But the most important thing with the LLC is separating business from personal, and that's a huge thing. The other thing with they come to these things that I don't really enjoy talking that much about. They're the boring parts of it, business structure, banking things. But how do you get paid? There's a number of different ways you can get paid. I don't necessarily like any of the options, but you can use PayPal, you can use Venmo, you can use Stripe. Uh, you can get uh, your business bank account usually will give you something like that. And so there's all kinds of different ways you can get it, but you need to get these things set up so that when you get your first client, you can take the money. You don't look like like, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have anything. So you want to get that set up. You can also think about a contract if you want to between you and your client, where you set the expectations, the payment, how long it's for, those types of things. Um, I really think that it helps to have a professional email address, uh, such as let's go back to that Jackson customer service at jackson.com or whatever. So it just looks a whole lot better that you know what you're doing. A lot of people use Gmails. They're okay, but it looks a whole lot better to have to take that one extra step. You can get those emails. I use Namecheap. They've got a private email one. It's I think maybe $25 a year, maybe 30, and they do an excellent job. You are better off getting a LinkedIn account. It also helps your credibility. People like to see you in different places. Get a professional LinkedIn, and that's about all you really need. You can just get rolling. So starting the business, especially if you're out of your home, can be pretty quick, and it can be fairly inexpensive to get started. But you do have to get started. Too many people get caught up on all these little things like, oh, I don't know how to do an LLC, or I don't know how to set up an email. I don't know. Just get started. Just get started, and you'll figure it out. You can go to any of the AIs, Claude AI, ChatGPT, whatever you want. Type in your question, you most likely get a good answer for it. So you don't need a whole lot to start this. Um, you don't even really need a logo. If you want to do a logo, fine, but people don't care about that. I can guarantee you they're not going to hire you because they liked your logo. Uh, and as far as the phone number goes, I just actually use my cell. Some people use business phone number. That's fine. Accounting software, you can use QuickBooks, Xero, Wave, any of those things. You can look into that. I don't necessarily do that, but a lot of other people do. And that's about all there is to it. So start it, get your either your LLC or sole proprietorship. I would recommend at least eventually getting an LLC, and get that bank account, and get the payment processor such as Stripe, PayPal, Venmo. Once you got those, you're in business. Start hitting up customers. We'll see you tomorrow.